World Economic Forum raises concern about Nigeria's economy list 5 risks for 2023. African Development Bank AFDB names 25 finalists for its $140,000 agri-pitch competition, plus oil rises on China demand hopes, upcoming U.S. inflation data caps gains. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katung, Babatunde. You're welcome. We shall inform you that the World Economic Forum has raised concerns about the health of the Nigerian economy and the tough job ahead for the country's next president. In a new report titled The Global Risk Report 2023, published on its website, the forum said its submission on Nigeria was based on responses from 1,200 private sector risk managers, public policy makers, academics, and industry leaders across the world. The organization listed terror attacks, debt crisis, cost of living, severe commodity supply crisis, rapid or sustained inflation, and unemployment or livelihood crisis as the most immediate risk facing the country's economy. Using data from the Global Risk Perception Survey 2022 to 2023 to highlight the risk the world was likely to face over the coming 10 years, the World Economic Forum said globally the coming years would present tough trade-offs for governments facing competing concerns for society, the environment, and security. The report further identified the cost of living crisis as the most severe threat facing developed and developing countries over the next 2 years, followed by natural disasters and extreme weather events, while geo-economic confrontation also features in the top 3 most severe risks in the most immediate future. The African Development Bank AFDB has named 25 youth-led agriculture sector companies from 14 African countries that have qualified for the final round of its $140,000 2022 Agri-Pitch competition. The Agri-Pitch competition is the product of a collaborative effort between the bank, Eldo Hub, a private equity support and partnership company, and the Private Finance Advisory Network. The 25 finalists include 17 women-owned or led small and medium enterprises. 13 are from Francophone countries, while the other 12 are from Anglophone countries. The Agri-Pitch competition targets African youth aged 18 to 35 years working in the agricultural value chain. The 25 finalists will receive training to build business skills capacity with the requisite tools and knowledge to bolster their investor readiness in financial management and help them pitch bankable business proposals. The competition received over 1,000 applications from African entrepreneurs, including around 250 entries from women-owned small and medium enterprises. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria will not go back on the decision to phase out the old Naira notes by the end of January 2023 in order to create an avenue for adequate circulation of the redesigned notes. Branch Controller Lagos State Godfrey Koyo, while interacting with some business operators at Balogun Market, said the bank has enough redesigned notes to supply full deposit money banks in the country.
And we are replacing. You will not expect 100% at the same time, but the banks we are supplying to the banks, and the banks will be replacing them. But this is an order coming from the Apex Bank that all ATM machines henceforth should be loaded only with the new notes. And so we expect compliance from the banks, and we believe that they are complying because they know the implication of non-compliance.
If I have seen it, in fact, all the notes, to me, I think it is perfect. You know, in Nigeria, when something is introduced new, there's going to be complaint. Even when the other old notes, when it was first in circulation, it was the same thing. But as time goes on, if the old note is out of circulation, they will appreciate what they have.
So far, before now, I'll say from the bank, we're not seeing much of it from the bank because they're still dispensing old notes.
Okay, let's now see the official exchange rate for major currencies. Now, the proliferation of quick loan apps and instant cash lending platforms in Nigeria has, as a means of raising emergency funds occasioned by the economic downturn in the country, unemployment and poverty, has changed the entire borrowing dynamics. These online lenders give soft loans with a relatively short time period, making them attractive to thousands of borrowers. However, unconventional loan recovery tactics deployed against defaulting borrowers by these online lenders have brought untold pains and emotional trauma to many Nigerians. Several of their customers have complained of undignified ways the lenders often use to recover loans from them, including declaring the debtors dead, designing and circulating their obituary to family or friends, or tagging them HIV positive and as well criminals, among others. And so joining me to discuss the activities of these categories of fintechs in Nigeria is Mr. Kolaole Kende. He is the managing principal of Rose Window Consulting Limited, a business and education management consulting firm. You're welcome, Mr. Kola, to
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, of course. Thank you. So the fintech space, it gave room for online creditors to actively participate, reducing the burdens of having to go to the banks and reducing the transaction period. And of course, we understand that a number of them have actually been licensed to carry out these activities. So perhaps we start by you telling us, how does it work?
Okay, thank you. Before I start, let's look at the issue that precipitated the rise of fintechs. And if you look at it, the financial inclusion in Nigeria is still relatively small, and above around the adult population is about 50%. But the federal government, through the CBN and the Chairman Committee on Financial Inclusion, are projecting a 95% adult inclusion in the financial space by 2024. But we're in 2023. Do you think we've gotten to that? No. So, but having come from banking space, I've worked in the retail market space a lot. Accessing a loan in Nigerian commercial bank or a microfinance bank is so tedious, and the fintechs are telling you that, hey, you don't need to come to the bank. Just give me your name, let me have your BVN, and I can give you whatever you want. Interestingly, some give as high as 300,000 naira in 3 minutes. I don't think any commercial bank can beat that speed. But you know, so if it looks so good to be true, it's probably you need to have to do some double checks. So fintech has come as a strategy for financial inclusion, and to be a money lender, because you have to start from a money lending position. That means you have to get your CAC registration. Then after the CAC registration, you still need to go to the magistrate court, file your taxes, and get some other documents for you to be licensed as a money lender. Most of the banks, most of the money lending apps that have been closed by the federal government actually could have CAC, but they don't have location and addresses, and they are just, like we said, online. They're just there, faceless, anonymous, and they're ready to tear up anybody. And the rise of IT and social media has actually expanded that window of the fintechs. And the truth of the matter is that because of the vulnerable nature of the economy, rising unemployment, as I mentioned, and it's actually one of the things that is actually fueling this money lending and online loan apps business.
Yeah, of course, the idea behind this is brilliant, it's beautiful. But then at what point did they transmute from the guys everyone wants to go to into loan sharks?
Okay, you know that also in Nigeria we have a copycat culture, and everybody wants to go and do the most profitable business. So once you have that, I like your wig, I can actually get this at this for you. Almost everybody will be selling wigs. Almost everybody wants to do that. So that it makes it an all-commerce market. And once you are tech savvy, or you can employ the service of a developer, you can organize, you can run a loan app even without the government being able to checkmate you, because these apps are actually on Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. So the government cannot say, Google, hey, don't register the app, don't register this. So because of the fact that the government cannot have a hold on that, it has made a lot of illegal loan apps operational, and they are so ruthless. About 2 days ago, a very close associate called me and said I'm in trouble, and my friend borrowed money from 5 loan apps. I said, wow, that's it had actually failed on the 5 C's of credit, and now they have collected my ATM PIN, BVN, and everything. Actually, she actually gave them every access to our details. Now any money that comes into our account, they wipe it off. And then I said, can I go and register another BVN? I said, as a consultant, please, let's agree, let's assume that we never had this conversation, because it's also illegal for you to have to BVN. So there are 2 perspectives to it, from the customer's perspective and from the business perspective, because of the fact that there is easy access, there's anonymous tagged to it. Customers too are bullish in borrowing, and most of it call it giveaway. I'm sure if you've been a social media person, you see some guys will come, I'm giving 20-50 people giveaway, and people tag on it, and by the time you're tagging on it, it's pulling you into a loan app.
Really?
Yeah. So it's that they are so savvy, and it happens. And once you get to that point, you borrow and somebody's about to give you, and I say, okay, I'm now going to give you this money in less than how many. I say, hey, let me give it a try, and they get hooked on it. Once you get a loan app, you sign up, you ask for your contacts. Once you click access my contact, access my location, you know that whatever happens, it's
yes, I was going to get to that, and I was actually hoping that if the team at the back will just flashes some of those kinds of messages. You wake up sometimes first thing in the morning, and then you just get this message right there in your phone telling you, do you know this person? This person is a criminal. This person stole, and is wanted by the police, EFCC, and blah blah blah, and has named you as one of the referees or guarantors or whatever, and so you have an obligation to settle the person's debt. At what point does association make me a part of a transaction?
Okay, I mentioned earlier on that once you are signing up on this,
yes, I think we have some of them at the back, so I might have to just make space a little bit so our viewers can see this.
Once you sign up on the loan app, it asks for your contact list. Your contact list is technically like a guarantor's list, but because of the fact that these loans are non-collateralized, the lender needs to get some form of security, but that security is not what people are really worried of. Nobody wants to make them know that they're owing people because of the Data Protection Act and all of that. And once you have given them the opportunity to access your contact list, you have actually breached the data.
This particular one, I was actually interested in it because it was on Twitter sometime last year, and the person says he got money from the initial slide, got some money, and the interest due date, he made a payment of 10k to balance up 13k after 2 days, and he sent messages to all my contact numbers that I'm owing them, and that if a fraudulent yes, he is fraudulent. The thing is just so embarrassing, and now is affecting my being right now. From a non-judgmental person, how do I keep my mental health intact in this condition?
This is unfortunate, but I will take you back to the 5 C's of credit. There is character, there is capital, there is cash flow, there is condition, and there is what they call competence. Now, if capacity, now you've seen from this person, he may have character, but he doesn't have capacity because there have been conditions. You are going to pay at a so date. He breached that condition, and that means that the administrator wasn't actually qualified for that loan that he actually sought for. Another thing is that, like I mentioned, some people go as far as going to 6, 7, 8 loan apps to borrow, and you could imagine borrowing maybe a sum of 200,000 on 6, that's 1.2 million with an interest rate between 15 and 50%.
Okay.
So how would that person pay it up? And also, you know, since we have a challenging database in Nigeria, and our credit bureau is just growing. Ideally, when loan companies should advance credit to you, they should look you up at the credit bureau. But some of them actually look you up at the credit bureau and are still willing to lend to you so that they can just get a piece of pie of your finances. Now, it's a moral issue between the borrower and the lender. Coming to this this thing on the screen, you could see that he contact them that he had paid 10,000 and was going to pay 13. You know, the communication is critical. If the person had communicated, probably this wouldn't have happened. But you know, in Nigeria, when we want to beg for something, we could kneel down, but when we get the money, we now go wings. And the loan companies understand that, and they know that the easiest way to get their money back is to embarrass you.
So, but I mean, why would I be answering questions for someone perhaps I do not even know?
That is why it is always good for the borrowers to be worried about, first, am I going to allow them to access all my contacts? Because for the virtue of the fact that you are on the contact list of someone that had borrowed, it serves as a guarantor for them. Does it make it right? No. But that is what they're doing. And these are things that the illegal loan apps are doing, and the government is really fighting. There are so many loan apps that advance for these kind of cases to the credit bureau so that they blacklist the borrower and stop them from having access to other funds. That is the ideal way to do. And you know, of course, Nigerians too, we like there's so many people that have court cases that never show up and they just disappear, and somebody say take me to court, and they keep dragging those issues. It's not right for any loan company to forward a third-party transaction to you if you have not guaranteed them, and that is what the government is saying, and that is what should happen. Should these loan apps continue? Yes, because they are filling the void of a large number of people. As at second quarter 2022, up to we had about 20 million downloads on Google Play. Google
now by people who are crying all over the place.
Yeah, it's 20 million. And the top 3 loan apps make up for 50% of that number. So you can see how interesting these kind of things are to them. And that's like, let's say, 10% of the population.
Okay, before I let you go, I'm told I don't have much time again left, but quickly, how do we sanitize this space? What do you expect of these borrowers who are the ones crying all over the place now?
Now, well, the first thing is responsible borrowing. Don't borrow what you don't, you know, you will never pay back. And that's the first thing. And don't do what you cannot afford. Most of us, we want to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of people are in debt because they just had to do a Christmas party because they've been doing it every time. So, I mean, the first thing is ensure that if you want to borrow for something, you can pay back. Some of us, they borrow short-term money for long-term funds, for long-term projects. So when you borrow loans of short-term for long-term projects, it becomes difficult to pay. And lastly, I think that government should continuously swoop on these loan apps, and probably as with Google as a on that level, to ensure that once these apps are registering, they have some relationship with the financial services in Nigeria.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I must thank you, Mr. Kolaule Kende, for coming on the program, and of course for sharing these insights with us and members of the public. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great. And so we move straight to the commodities market. Stocks reversed Tuesday's losses Wednesday as investors gained 154.29 billion naira in the equities market midweek. The all-share index advanced by 0.55% to close at 51,729.87 points. 281.9 million units of securities were traded by investors in 3,679 days, valued at 8.1 billion naira. Equity capitalization closed at 28.1 trillion naira. FBN Holdings, Boa Cement and GTCO were the most active stocks as the financial services sector dominated activities. And let's take a trip to the global market.
Asia Pacific shares are mixed this Thursday as investors look ahead to the U.S. Consumer Price Index report. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite lost 0.24%. The Nikkei 225 was flat, while Topix climbed 0.34%. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index declined 0.73%, reversing earlier gains. Stock futures in the U.S. were little changed in overnight trading Wednesday as investors in the region also awaited the key inflation report. Futures linked to the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 25 points. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures are also flat. European markets are expected to open higher as global investors gear up for the December reading of U.S. consumer prices on Thursday. Most markets in Africa are bleeding as they open trading this Thursday. South Africa's USD Africa Top 40 and Namibia's overall index set the tone for the bears, while other stocks are yet to open the day's session. Boss Swede Able, Business Express.
And that was Business Express for now. Remember to send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via various social media platforms. Business Express returns a Friday at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde saying stay tuned to NTA, and of course in a few minutes we will be hooking up with our outside broadcast crew to bring you the management, the NTA retreat, of course, and it is going to be focused on the 2023 general elections. Have a blessed day and God bless Nigeria.